Good evening. We'll call this meeting of the Sebastian City Council, a regular meeting and CRA meeting, to order. Please stand for an invocation to be given by Pastor Dave Newhart from the St. Elizabeth's Episcopal Church.
Thank you, Mayor.
Remain standing for the
Invocation.
the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm glad you're having one of those days the same as I am.
Been one of those
Doesn't
days.
make me feel so bad. Let's pray. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed art thou, Lord our God, King of our universe. Lord, we thank you that you have entrusted these city council members and to the public to serve this great community. Let tonight be a night of good words with grace. And Lord, we just thank you for the blessings that you've given to Sebastian. So as we go forward today, Lord, we ask for your blessings in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Gilmore.
Here.
Vice Mayor Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Coy.
Here.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Here.
And Councilmember Hill has requested an excused absence.
Okay, are there any agenda modifications? Seeing none, we have some proclamations for Children's Week, which we'll start. Is Jackie Jackson here? Come on down. We'll give you a chance to say howdy. This is a proclamation for Children's Week. That's January 24th through the 29th, 2016. Whereas the 21st Annual Children's Week celebrating parents and children will take place in Tallahassee from January 24th to 29th, bringing thousands of parents, children, professionals, policymakers, and community leaders together to share valuable knowledge and information about children's issues across the state and in our capital city. And whereas the purpose of Children's Week is to create a shared vision of the state of Florida's commitment to its children and families, and to engage a long-term process to develop and implement strategies. And whereas the Children's Week Committee has teamed up with statewide businesses and nonprofit organizations, including the Early Learning Coalition of Indian River, Martin, and Okeechobee counties, Camelot Community Care, Devereaux CBC, Guardian Ad Litem, and other local organizations to expand the network of community involvement on a wide array of children and family issues at the local level. Now, therefore, I, Richard H. Gilmore, Mayor of the City of Sebastian, on behalf of the Sebastian City Council, do hereby proclaim January 24th through 29th, 2016 as Children's Week here in Sebastian, Florida. So here's your proclamation.
Thank you. Can we get a picture?
Sure, yeah. Somebody. Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
just to make sure. Great. Thank you so much.
Would you like to say something?
Thank you so much for this. My name is Jackie Jackson. I'm the CEO for the Early Learning Coalition. We actually cover 3 counties, Indian River, Martin, and Okeechobee County. I'm always pleased to come to Sebastian. I love your town up here, and it's a great drive. I'll tell you that we serve over 600 children in Indian River County. And the dollars that we get are state and local funding and federal funding. And we have a wait list in Indian River County of over 400 children. So there's plenty of children that still need our services. And we serve the 0 to the 150% of the poverty level. And what we do is we assure these families and help them financially get quality preschool so that the parents can go to work. So we're always helping the working poor families. Children's Week is a little early this year because, as we know, session has started. It started yesterday, so Children's Week was moved up a little bit. And I am so thrilled to go to Tallahassee. I'll go up there during Children's Week, and I will go in February. And we're always advocating for the children and more funding so that we can serve your children in this community. And I thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thanks for all you do. Is Mabel Nolan here? Come on down. All right, did I say that right? Marble, okay. This is a proclamation for School Choice Week, January 24th through the 30th. Whereas all children should have access to the highest quality education possible, and the City of Sebastian recognizes the important role that an effective education plays in preparing all students to be successful adults and to the economic vitality of a community. And whereas the City of Sebastian is home to high-quality public and non-public schools with high-quality professionals in all types of settings from which parents can choose for their children. And this educational variety not only helps to diversify our economy, but also enhances the vibrancy of our community. And whereas School Choice Week is celebrated across the country by millions of students, parents, educators, schools, and organizations to raise awareness of the need for effective educational options. Now, therefore, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the City of Sebastian, and on behalf of the Sebastian City Council, I hereby recognize January 24th through 30th as School Choice Week in Sebastian and call the observance to the attention of our citizens.
I say thank you to the City of Sebastian and to the mayor and to the City Council for this proclamation this week. On behalf of all of the schools and the students and the parents in the district, I want to thank you for making this School Choice Week. Sebastian Charter Junior High, we are a small family-based community-run school that offers just that, a choice for all the parents in the district. Education is not a one-size-fit-all deal, so parents sometimes need a different choice when they have to make that decision where to send their students at. That's what we allow our families to have. It's a different choice, a different place to go to send their kids to make best fit their needs. So thank you.
I'm going to wait for Vice Mayor Adams to come down here because he's going to accept this proclamation. This is a proclamation for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday, January 18th. Whereas at a time of deep division over 50 years ago, a booming voice for justice rang out across the National Mall, reverberated around our country, and sent ripples throughout the world, speaking to thousands upon thousands, rallying for jobs and freedom. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his I Have a Dream speech, challenging America to take up the worthy task of perfecting our union. And whereas the 1950s and 60s, thousands of men and women took up Dr. King's struggle for justice and equality, braving unimaginable violence, and for their courage and sacrifice, they earned our country's everlasting gratitude. Whereas January 18th marks the observance of the federal holiday established by Public Law number 93-144 to honor the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And whereas in Dr. King's words, we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. In keeping with Dr. King's example, let us embrace the belief that our destiny is shared, accept our obligations to each other and to future generations, and strengthen the bonds that hold together the most diverse nation on earth. Whereas this day honoring Dr. King should serve as a time to remind all Americans of what he accomplished for our country, and to continue his dream of peace, love, and justice for all humankind through service to others. And now, therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Sebastian, Florida, and on behalf of the Sebastian City Council, I do hereby urge all citizens of Sebastian to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s long-term struggle for justice and equality in America by continuing his call to service and render service to others with appropriate civic, community, and service projects.
I just wanted to say thanks to the city and the city council and the city of Sebastian for this proclamation, remembering Dr. King and all his work that he's done for all these many years. His work continues to this day. Unfortunately, in some areas, it is still needed because that stigma or that ugly head of racism still is apparent. But the solution is very easy. Just treat everyone the way you would want to be treated. That's my charge for everyone within earshot of my voice. Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. That would solve so many of the problems that we're having in this country and in this world right now. But in closing, again, just thanks to the city for this proclamation, recognizing his work, and I hope everyone will strive to treat everyone as they would want to be treated. Thank you.
Chief Morris, come on down. I received an email over the weekend, and I'm going to read it to you because, you know, the police and folks that are helping public service have really got a tough job, and they've come under attack lately. Let me just read this email that I got, and it spurred me to issue a Pele Award, which I'll read briefly. Dear Mayor Gilmore, on behalf of Space Coast Honor Flight, I would like to thank Chief Morris and the Sebastian Police Department for their assistance at our monthly luncheon that we are holding at Captain Hiram's. Space Coast Honor Flight, www.spacecoasthonorflight.org, is an organization that provides an all-expense-paid trip for World War II and Korean veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit various memorials and Arlington Cemetery. This is a very small thank you for all that they have done to ensure our freedom. An outgrowth of these trips are monthly luncheons for the veterans to gather and socialize. The first was an informal gathering. That has blossomed into 4 monthly luncheons held throughout the Treasure and Space Coast. In November 2015, we instituted a monthly luncheon at Captain Hiram's. Prior to this, I contacted Chief Morris and requested, if possible, a police car cruise the area in an effort to help ensure traffic did not pose an undue problem for the veterans crossing the street from the parking area. These veterans are in their 80s and 90s. Chief Morris went above and beyond my request. She assigned an officer, Carlin Parker, and 2 volunteers, John Lacerni and Paul Russedge, to handle the pedestrian crossing. In addition, she herself was there. The level of safety provided was outstanding. Volunteers Lacerni, did I pronounce that right? Lacerni? And Russedge ensured traffic was stopped prior to the veterans crossing. In addition, both Chief Morris and Officer Parker engaged the veterans as they arrived and crossed the street. For a generation that went to war, returned home, built the country, and expecting nothing more, to have this level of respect and attention from the Sebastian Police Department meant more than words can describe. They truly felt honored. Chief Morris and the Sebastian Police Department have made our luncheon in Sebastian a special event, and words cannot thank them. Now, this is from Philip Weiler, Space Coast Honor Flight. He's a board member. So I believe that was certainly in need of a Pele Award. And let me read this Pelley Award. It says 2016 Sebastian Pelley Award. The Pelley Award is given to those who exemplify the spirit of Sebastian. Sebastian has that small town character and compassion that makes our city special. This award is reserved for those who, through their acts of kindness and caring, give our city its good name. The Pelley recognize those who put the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, into daily practice. So City Sebastian Pelley awarded to Chief Police Michelle Morris, Sebastian Police Department, and volunteers this 13th day of January for their acts of kindness. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, Mayor Gilmore and Council and Mr. Griffin. This is something that is kind of near and dear to all of us. Law enforcement recognize everything that our veterans have done, and especially with our greatest generation. If you ever have the time, I encourage you on the third Tuesday of every month at about 11 o'clock, because these gentlemen and ladies show up early. The luncheon actually begins at 11:30. I encourage you to just go and sit on the side of the road and watch them come in. Some of them are in wheelchairs, some of them are in walkers, some of them walk in by themselves. And there's just nothing like seeing their smiling faces, knowing that they are being recognized and able to come out and have this nice lunch, and then see the police officers and the volunteers recognizing them. Carlin Parker is there every time they have it, and he calls them each by name because they wear their little name plates, and it's such a good feeling. It's so heartwarming just to watch them walk in with that smile on their face. And I just want to thank my staff because they are fantastic. John Lesnier, who is in charge of the volunteers. Paul Roughsedge was not able to be here. These gentlemen are personally there every luncheon. Commander Blackledge was there because I was not able to be there last month, but we will continue to go, and then Officer Parker will be there as well. But I encourage you, if you have the opportunity, go by. It will truly warm your heart. Thank you.
It kind of fits right in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Next, we have a presentation by Jim Hayhurst about natural gas. I'm sorry?
Clam Bake Foundation.
Clam bake. Oh, I'm sorry. How could I miss the clam bake? Come on down.
The check.
Wow. It's these bifocals.
So where am I facing? Because these guys?
Yeah.
I love you guys. Ignore my back. So good evening, you guys. Namaste. We love you. This is the best night for the clam bake. We had a great year, and this is when we get to give the money away. And I have envelopes, and thank God this isn't the Miss Universe pageant. The right names here. We're all set, trust me.
I'm sure you give it to the right one.
That's the point. So we're actually going to be giving away tonight a total of $40,000 to 3 organizations,
Wow.
which is really wonderful. Just if I can take a few minutes, am I limited? I'm okay?
You don't have any limit, no.
That's good. No, it's all right. I'll be quick enough. But just to let you know how we got here. So every year, probably in the middle of March, we put on our website the requirements for beneficiaries, and those beneficiaries thus far have for capital improvements, and we may be discussing varying that somewhat or not. But for right now, it's capital improvements. The organizations apply to us. Then in May, end of May or early June, our membership hears presentations from each organization that would like money from us. The membership is comprised of 10 organizations. They each have 1 vote. So that's how we get to know where the money goes. Now, those of us on the board, I have up with me here today Dot Judah, who's our treasurer, and Wayne Snow, who's a board member. There are 9 of us all together. The others are busy serving the community in other capacities tonight. But we are very fortunate because we don't have any say in where the money goes, so nobody can yell at any of us or have any problem. But the membership picks the beneficiaries. So that's how it happens. And then, of course, the member organizations are responsible for coming, cooking, serving food. And if you've been to the Clambake, you know what an incredible event it has grown into since we first started in 2002. We're going to be approaching $600,000 given away probably by next year. So this is really something that has grown a lot. Last year we had some rain. We weren't able to give away as much, which was sad for us. But this year the God smiled upon us, and we did very well. So we're really grateful. I was so happy that Michelle, they all took off. The police took off. See that? I was just going to say how wonderful and put an exclamation point on that proclamation that you gave them the award, because they were wonderful for us at the event, helping keep us safe. They were great, and so we had so many volunteers. So we had probably between 600 and 700 volunteers total at the event, because every member organization brings their volunteers. So that's kind of probably enough, but we're working on 2016 now, and suggestions, email us, SebastianClambake@hotmail. Slogans, we need a new slogan. We've already used May the Clam Be With You in 2014, so all the Star Wars fans, just keep that, we've already done it. But 2016 needs a slogan, so send your suggestion to SebastianClambake@hotmail.com. So now we're gonna give money away. Is there anything else we have to say?
No, just give them the money.
Dot the envelope, please. Let's take this one first, the bottom. No, this one. I'm sorry, the top. This one. This is how our board meetings are. It's okay. So we are going to give $8,000 to the Sebastian River High School crew. And I want those guys to come on up here and tell us a little bit about what they're going to use this grant for.
Thank you. I'm Bud Verteber. I'm with the Sebastian River High School Rowing Club. And I have to say, without the support of the county, the city of Sebastian, and the Clambake Festival, giving us grants to help us build our community with the school and rowers, we wouldn't have this possible. With this money, I'm sorry, it means so much to us. With this money, we're finishing our second boathouse, which is out at C-54 Canal. What we do is we have a rowing team out there. We're 50 rowers strong from the Sebastian River High School, and the Sebastian River Middle School, Storm Grove Middle School, is where we get our rowers from. We are now bringing in colleges. I'm not sure if anybody read, but Yale is down in Stewart. Well, we're bringing in Brown. We're going to try to bring in Harvard. They're going to be coming into our boathouse because we have the best water in the state. We have flat water that's protected from the wind where we're at. So we're bringing them in, and it's going to be great for the community. It'll be good for the restaurants, great for the hotels. We're going to bring packages in. We figure we're going to try to bring in about 700 rowers throughout the wintertime. Also, we have our opening day regatta, which is March 5th and 6th. We're going to have 11 different high schools from around the state come in and row. Starting February 15th, we have the USA Olympic team coming in. They're staying. We've rented them houses. They've actually rented houses. We found them for them. They're using the C-54 Canal from February 15th to April 15th. So these are our Olympians that will row for the USA. They picked our canal to row. Wow. So if you want to see some real deals, come out to our canal anytime. They'll be out there most mornings. They'll be out there 5 days a week from February 15th on. Again, with this money, we've been working on the boathouses. This is the end of our what we needed. We were short about $8,000 to complete the boathouse, so we will happily and hopefully have this boathouse and everything done by February 15th. So when they come in, this hopefully be a yearly thing for them to come in and train in the winter with us. And without the Clambake Festival, we couldn't have it. I do want to introduce, this is Buddy. He was actually on the first rowing team in 2006 when they started the rowing team with the high school. And this is Kenneth, who is the current senior on the rowing team. Without rowing, for instance, we had a rower last year go to MIT. He couldn't get in. It's hard to get into those type of schools. But rowing, they don't give out athletic scholarships, but they do give out academic scholarships. He wouldn't have received that without rowing. Kenneth has applied for MIT, Caltech, and Harvard, which all have rowing teams. So hopefully he'll get in, and again, without the Clambake people, it wouldn't all be possible. Thank you, and I want them to at least say thank you and what rowing means to them.
I'd like to thank the City of Sebastian and the Clambake Festival. This money really means a lot for our program. Rowing's done a lot for me in my life. I wasn't necessarily like social in middle school, but when I joined the rowing team, and it helped me connect with a lot of people and really improve my life.
Hi, I'm Buddy, and I also want to thank the City of Sebastian very much for this donation. I've seen the team from the start with 2 wooden boats all the way up to carbon fiber boats, and the full complex that we have now. We can finally finish it, so that way we can have such great teams come in, and it's been an amazing 10 years to see such progress, and now we can actually see the final product of all the hard work my beginning team and Buddies did, all the way up to what the seniors now are able to accomplish. So it's really amazing, and we really appreciate all the help. Thank you.
You're welcome, God. You're welcome. It's our pleasure. Amazing the work that you guys are doing. Thank you, honey. Good luck. The Elks Club. Is anyone here from the Elks aside from our board member, Wayne? Wayne, I think you're the man, except on behalf of the Elks. $12,000.
Thank you. This year's money will be finishing off a pavilion that we're trying to build on the back 40, as we call it, on the back of the building. We need some sidewalks for handicap, and this will just about get us to where we need to finish off the project that we started with the Clambake. Most of the time, everything gets from point A to point B, and we finish everything up, and that's the way it should be. Thank you.
And please extend to the members of the Elks our appreciation for the service work they do in town here. It's very grateful. And $20,000, well earned, well deserved, to the American Legion. I know John's going to be doing the talking, right? Right, John? You're going to be. And while they're walking up, our appreciation to the City of Sebastian obviously knows no bounds. This is obviously the best place to live.
Oh,
Fortunately, most people don't know that, or we'd be really overrun. Thank you, guys. Thank you, John. Here you go.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we had a failure to communicate. The other people were supposed to be here who were involved but didn't make it. But I'm glad the smart people went first, because I didn't know you had to be educated to get the money. Anyway, okay. All of our organizations were involved in raising this. We have 4 organizations: the Auxiliary, Sons of the American Legion. Those are people who didn't serve, but somebody in their family did. The Legion Riders, and the Post. So, first off, representing the Auxiliary is the president of the Auxiliary, Shar Kinlan. She has the same last name as me. Okay. Representing the Legion Riders is Director Eddie Parker and Al Blakenborough. Close? Okay. All right. My name is John Kinlan. I'm second vice commander of the Legion. Where's the money going to go? Okay. We're in the process, thanks to the city grant, of getting the sewer system in. And once we get the sewer system in, we're going to be able to get new bathrooms. And the clam bake was gracious enough to say, in a joint effort, and we sent out pledges, and I'm happy to report we have raised $20,000. So with the $20,000, except that now the commander's not here, Mr. Peeler, we found out that he forgot about permits, but we're in the process of coming up with that $5,000. So it's not them. It's a county project. But anyway, it's all coming together, and definitely, and also just a real quick kudos. The riders stepped up. We have 2 beer trucks, which I didn't know the first time I did this, and the riders staffed one entirely with riders, which was fantastic. And then we were just responsible for the other one, which was great. So thank you very much.
Totally welcome. Please do keep it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Always,
You
always,
guys
no
did
problem.
a great job.
Yeah. Okay.
How do you say thank you, guys? You did a great job with the beer. But that's true. They staffed the beer tents. Anyway, we've taken up enough. Oh, a photo op. Okay. I want to get in the middle. I need to be in the middle.
Sure. Okay, thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks to the city. You guys are wonderful.
All right, now, Jim Hayhurst is the president of Gas Power Solutions Incorporated, a consulting service specializing in natural and propane gas system design and build solutions. So I spoke with Jim, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and he said he would be happy to come and do a little presentation on natural gas. I said, boy, that'd be great. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, he had mentioned that you all had some issues that needed to be addressed as it relates to the current garbage collecting company that you all have contracted, and asked me if I could help with regards to coming up with some solutions that might be beneficial to the city. So without further ado, let me kind of move ahead here. The J.R. Leonard Construction Company is basically a CNG services group. I've worked closely with these folks for many years. They've built over 35 compressed natural gas fueling facilities nationwide, several, I think about 11 in Florida. They do a lot of work with waste management. They've built some of their stations. Waste Pro, another one that they've done stations for, City of Jacksonville, Tico Energy, et cetera, et cetera. There's, I'm sure, more that I've left. I worked at Tico Energy for 17 years and basically been in the gas business about 30 years. So I'm a long timer. And I do have to say, it was refreshing to come into a municipal gathering and have a prayer be said before it commenced. It's great, really great to see that we haven't abandoned our Lord. And you know, every time I turn around, they want to take God out of something, and they want to take Christ out of something, and it's aggravating. But I didn't mean to get political, but I thought I'd mention that. I am affiliated with several strategic companies, Simpkins Energy out of Tennessee. I'm a member of the Clean Cities Coalition of South Florida as well as Central Florida, member of the Florida Natural Gas Association. And Ariel is one of the leading compressor manufacturers in the country. And the REACH organization is a financial group that funds municipal and government entities for clean energy projects. And they do it very effectively and very inexpensively. So keep that in your memory bank. So this is kind of just a little introduction. I'm going to go through these items here, and we're going to talk about them one by one, and I'll try not to bore you. This, again, I already kind of talked about J.R. Leonard Construction, and this is just an example, a few photos of some of their projects that they've done. Vehicles. Everyone's always asking me what's out there. what can we get for our city or our county? Trust me, if you call General Motors, you call Ford, you call any of them, they have a vehicle that they will sell you OEM right off the factory floor that's ready for CNG, whether it's dedicated fuel, CNG only, or bi-fuel, which is gasoline, CNG combined. You use the gasoline, the CNG first typically, and when that fuel is exhausted, it automatically or transparently switches that fuel over to gasoline. You don't even tell. The technology is so much better today than it was 15, 20 years ago. Compressors, the compression systems are very, very far advanced opposed to what they were several years ago. This is an example of a Simpkins Energy product. You can see the right-hand photograph, that black cylinder there says dryer on it. Most CNG systems have to have a dryer to take the moisture out of the gas before it gets introduced into the motor, so it protects it. And you don't want that water or condensation in your vehicle engine either. So that dryer is designed to do that. Simpkins is the only manufacturer today that offers an integrated dryer as part of their package. And that's why I thought I'd mention that. This is a station I built about 6 months ago in Leesburg, Florida. This is open to the public. You can see in the background there the little Simpkins compressor back there. There's a card reader in the middle, and then the dispenser out front there that's hooked up to a plumbing truck. Fast fill. Fast fill, there's two different things that you look out. The refuse companies will time fill their trash trucks at night. So they come in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they hook up to a line, and those trucks are slowly filled overnight. It's very efficient to do it that way. Fast fill, which is what you see here, is typically like going into a regular gas station that you would go in today to get gasoline. The fuel typically is pumped into the vehicle at the same rate or speed, and it's very convenient. Again, this is more photographs of that station at its completion. You'll see in the left-hand photograph there the spheres. Those are storage spheres that hold volumes of natural gas so that vehicles can fuel quicker and get out of the station in a more expedient manner. So why Florida? Well, this slide, as you can imagine, is about 1.5 years old. And we all know what's happening to the price of oil right now. So oil's right around $30 a barrel. When this slide was made, it was probably about $80 a barrel. So that 50 to 65% is probably cut in half, but still cheaper than gasoline and diesel. So here's the trend. Here's what's happened since 2000 up through October of 2014. You see the green line at the bottom, that's compressed natural gas. And if you see the red line at the top, or the maroon line that you see across the top, that's propane. I have a lot of people that say, well, you know, propane's cheap, it's gas. Why won't we just do that? Well, as you can see there, for the most part, propane's the most expensive fuel out there. And it's twice as expensive as compressed natural gas. So gasoline and diesel are still cheaper than propane, but not as clean. That's the advantage. So here's some stations currently. This is fairly up to date. You'll see that the city of Clearwater over there, they're selling compressed natural gas to the public at $1.47 a gallon right now, and that's a public access station. They are the utility. They own their own gas utility, so they can get away with that. They're not trying to make a ton of money off CNG. They're trying to help the community save money. The other higher priced stations you see there, which still aren't real bad, more expensive than gasoline right now, but those prices are that way because the owners of those stations put up their own money, and they're trying to get themselves paid back. So the price at the pump is typically going to be higher for those. Closest one to you here is the Pompano Beach station, I think is probably, or the Vero. I think there's actually one in Vero now too. But Pompano's at 210 last I checked. So why would the city want to do it? If you put in a natural gas station here for your municipal vehicles, you would own the gas meter. Utility's going to bring the meter in, they're going to set it, but you own the meter. So what I did was I took a breakdown of what the actual cost per gasoline gallon equivalent through the meter, and as you see across the top there, your price today is $1.05. So yours is still a very substantial savings over gasoline at the pump today, because as oil dropped, so did natural gas futures. They dropped too. So it's a lot cheaper today. I think a decatherm of natural gas is going for about $2.23 right now, which is about 22 cents a therm. So when you start getting it, I know you don't understand all that jargon, but what I'm saying to you is $1.05 is a pretty good deal. And I broke it out with the power. So that's the laden cost. Laden cost means that's what it costs for us to create that. That's the electricity, maintenance on the facility, all that is rolled in there. There's a tax credit. You see that line there, it says 50 cents a gallon tax credit. That's the excise tax credit that the government will give those who are selling fuel retail. With the caveat, if you're a government entity, you get that 50 cents. So that comes to you, whether you're selling to the public or whether you're putting it in your own vehicles, you get the 50 cents a gallon. Now you're at 65 cents a gallon. Starting to feel a little better about that? Starting to feel a little better, huh? So if you were selling it, you'd have to charge your federal tax. You see there at 18 cents. Florida sales taxes would be a dime or 6.5%. So now your laden retail, someone owned a station, their retail cost would be $1.34. So when you see those stations at $2.25 a gallon, he's making 90 cents a gallon or whatever. He's dialed into his pro forma. He knows how much fuel is going to go through and how long it's going to take him to get paid back. But I think that's a real important slide because a lot of people don't know that breakdown. I've given hundreds of these presentations, and I've got people from large organizations walk up to me and say, we've never seen it broke out like that. The gas utilities really don't want you to know what it costs. And I'm a former executive for TECO Energy, so I know the numbers. All right, here's what's important for you to know now. All right, so House Bill 579 was passed, I believe, 2013. It's good through the end of 2018. So January 1st, 2019, this expires. It's going to be renewed. The Florida Natural Gas Association is working diligently to get it extended. So 50% of the cost to convert one of your city vehicles is covered by the state of Florida right now. And as a government entity, that they're encouraging you to do that, all right? So if it's a $10,000 upcharge, you're only out of pocket $5,000. The fleet maximum is $250,000. So you can spend as much as $500,000 on conversion and get half of it back. Total per year available for the state is they've got $6 million in the coffer. That gets renewed every July 1st. So we're almost halfway through with it already. So and then you've got the rebate. So you've got a 50-cent excise tax rebate, 50 cents per gallon. I already talked about that in the previous slide. What's not on here, which they just renewed, is the 30%, up to 30% of the cost associated with the infrastructure. Putting in the compressors and the fueling equipment, they're going to give you 30% off the cost of that, up to $30,000. And I'll talk to you more about that in a minute. All right, so this is option number one. This is a fast fill. If you decided to put one in somewhere in the city and open it to the public, this is what we would be looking at. Your approximate cost would be about $335,000. That's all in, construction, the whole shebang. You just need to supply some land first to put it on. You've got your tax credit I just told you about. So there's $30,000 that you'd get. Then you've got your $40,000 allowance that Waste Management said that they would throw into the kitty. So now you've got a total of $265,000 of actual costs. Option two is, Mayor Gilmore told me there's no CNG vehicles in the city right now. So I started paring this down. So the second option, we're going to put a couple small little Simpkins 200 compressors They together they'll generate about 10 gallons an hour. Very inexpensive. You're talking about $126,000, including installation. Now you got your $30,000 for your tax credit, less your $40,000. Now you're only looking at $56,000 out of pocket to do this. Okay, that includes that storage sphere there you see. So you could fast fill behind the fence, not open to the public. If you had a couple vehicles, you could fast fill if you wanted. That sphere will hold 42 gallons. So you could get 4 vehicles that have 10-gallon tanks in them right away. And you can fast fill every day if you chose to do that. Now, it's going to get real fun here. Option 3, we just put 1 compressor in. Comes with the fuel post. Another, still got the storage sphere. Installed about $94,000 plus your credits and your allowance. Now you're looking at $25,000, $25,800 is your out of pocket. So that's pretty inexpensive. You could basically do this system here. Again, you're going to have 40 gallons sitting in that storage vessel. The downside is that compressor there, the single one, will only push 5 gallons an hour. So you can back into that. It'll take you some time. It's going to take you 8 hours to fill the storage vessel. The compressor will run all day long after you fill 4 vehicles. But you're only looking at $25,000 out of your pocket.
And that would fill up that cylinder.
Yeah, that little compressor there will fill up that cylinder in about 8 hours. That storage vessel in about 8 hours. So your vehicles come back in the morning, they can fast fill. Again, we can use the financing mechanism to finance the remaining amount. So why would you do it? Lower fuel costs, it's cleaner, lower maintenance costs. The reason that that's important is there's no carbon in natural gas. So you don't have carbon buildup in the engine, which makes it very, very attractive. Your oil changes are going to be 3 times longer. If you're changing your oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, you're going to be able to go out to 10, 12, 13,000 miles before you change the oil. You'll pull the dipstick after 5,000 miles, it'll still be clear. It'll still look like brand new oil. But the viscosity of that oil will break down over time because of the engine and heat. So you do still need to change the oil even though it looks clean. The other nice thing about it is the engine's going to last a lot longer. So you got uninterrupted fuel supply. Well, when a hurricane comes through, all the gas lines are underground. So all you really need is a small little gen set to run your system. And you can run that off natural gas. So now you're totally off the grid. Hurricane comes through, those 4 vehicles, they're on the road. If they're police cars, if they're whatever it is, you're in business during a hurricane. So you're controlling your fuel costs. You own the fuel. That's the other beauty. You have control. It's also an additional revenue stream should you decide to go public. You control your city fuel costs as it relates to theft. And I'm not casting, blame on anybody, but there are people that put the gas can in the trunk, and when they're out fueling their vehicle, they fill it up, and that's called shrinkage. And people are looking at where's that? There's 1,000 gallons of gasoline missing. Where did it go? Typically, it's stolen somewhere. That goes away. So it's a more stable fuel. It's going to be here long term. We all know oil's going to go back up eventually. That's just a matter of time. So aftermarket support, our organization, the J.R. Leonard Group, has service technicians around the state of Florida that maintain the equipment that's currently on the ground. So if you build a station, we'll build it, we'll maintain it. You don't have to worry about changing filters and compressor oil and all that. So that's my contact information. If you have questions for me, my email's there, and that's it. Any questions from anyone?
Yes.
Andrea.
First off, I believe the state of Florida mandated that gas stations have backup generators for all of their gas stations a few years back. I'm pretty sure that there was tightening up. So I don't accept the the fact that gas is not going to be available. I know there were some provisions that local stations had to have a backup system.
Let me add my comment to that, and that's a very valid question. I'm glad you brought
So
it
it wasn't
up.
a question.
Well, comment.
Okay.
When a hurricane comes through and trees are across the road, do you think that tanker truck's going to be able to deliver that gasoline to that station?
It wasn't a question.
You're not going to do that. That station's going to not be able to serve.
I understand that, but there are some other issues. So, I mean, I'm not accepting that as a really great.
Well, you know, it is what it is.
And the other question I have for you, let's go to the actual questions. Going back to slow fill and fast fill. I'm not so sure I see any value in the slow fill systems, because eventually, if you're converting a fleet, you're going to need the fast fill down the road. So how do you convert the slow fill to fast fill, or are they two different animals?
They're not necessarily two different animals. They're two different approaches. For example, Waste Management's a good example. You all do business with them. They like it because they're saving money on labor. They don't have to pay a truck driver to run his trash truck to go get diesel. That truck sits there and it fuels overnight. When he gets to the shop, gets to the yard in the morning, he disconnects the line, gets in the truck, and goes to work. When he comes back, he parks it, plugs in the line, and goes home. So they're saving on labor, and they're saving on fuel.
That's for one truck. They've got a
that's
bazillion trucks.
the whole fleet. So you
and
got,
we will have more than one vehicle. We will actually have, if we go for a fleet, eventually, we will have more than 4 vehicles, which that little round thing is capable of doing at slow fill.
Sure.
So if it...
Well, it's capable of doing it fast fill.
To do fast fill. Yeah. But it's still, you've got to fill that sooner or later. So overnight, if you're filling that, you can't fill another vehicle. So we're talking 4 vehicles out of the big round thing. And then I'm not seeing a lot of value here. And this is an information gathering. I was hoping you would give me something that, like, oh yeah, well, you can take those slow fill and convert them, or we just string them together. But I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing that they're 2 separate systems, slow, fast. So I'm not so sure that I see a lot of value in the slow fill system.
Well, again, it just depends on what you want to do with how you run your business or how you run your organization. Refuse companies, it's a great advantage to them. They don't need a storage vessel. They're not fast filling anything. So
who?
The refuse companies. They don't do any fast.
They have their own station right now.
They do it, and they time fill, and it's all about time, labor, and cost. If you're opening to the public, you have to do fast fill.
Exactly. So, so a lot of those numbers that you showed with the 50 cents here and the benefits go towards the fast fill. And this is kind of good news for you, because I like the fast fill. I don't like the slow fill. So, well, hang in with me there.
It goes either way. It goes to both. All the benefits go either way, whether it's fast or slow. It doesn't matter. Whatever the CNG costs are, the government is trying to help, and the state is trying to help with incentives to get you to transition from petroleum-based fuels to compressed natural gas.
It's still tax dollars. I mean, it's still tax dollars that come from somewhere. So,
Yeah,
I mean, and
it
it's
is.
only temporary till 2018. But okay, that's I got it. And I would like a hard copy of this PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, they have it. They can make it for you, sure.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Nope, not for me.
Okay.
Vice Mayor Adams?
We're good. Well, thank you very much, Mayor Gilmore.
Hold on.
I'm sorry,
Just a comment,
did
sure.
you have a question?
Just a comment, just saying thanks for coming and giving us all this information. That it's
Sure.
very valuable for us. It's something that we'll definitely be thinking about moving forward to decide whether or not we're going to be headed in that direction or not.
All right. Well,
So
thank you
very much.
I appreciate it.
Just a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Each one of those systems that you showed us was fast fill, was it not?
Well, the compressors are actually slow fill compressors, but I added this sphere there so that you could have the fast fill capability with
I get it.
Again, you could take the sphere out and just park a vehicle there and plug in directly to the compressor, and it'll fill the car, but only at 5 gallons an hour.
So the compressor fills the spheres, and then the spheres
Fill
is
the
what
vehicle.
hooks into the fast
But
fill.
only 4 at a time. Only enough for 4 vehicles.
It'll fill 4 back to back.
Bing, 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 bing. And then it takes so many
It'll
hours.
take 8 hours for one of those compressors to fill this.
But
the
if you
storage
put
vessel.
in a larger, could you put in more spheres?
Yeah, you can just add another
But
storage.
it still takes 8 hours to fill it. So you have one compressor, one sphere, you get 8 hours, you get 4. And nothing else overnight, nothing
No.
else overnight.
That's not
Can I-
what I heard.
Can I ask a question quickly? With the spheres, filling them up takes 8 hours. You
With
could
one
do
compressor,
with
one small compressor, yeah.
Okay, so you could do that during the daytime when the vehicles are out and about doing whatever
Sure.
they're doing. It would fill up, and then at the end of the evening, I guess that's how you would.
I mean, if you come in at 8 o'clock back to back and fill them all, throughout the 8-hour day, when he gets back to the office at 5 o'clock, the sphere's full again.
Yeah.
The maximum you could do, though, is 12.
No.
Yes, there's only 24 hours in a day.
All right, times 5 gallons an hour.
That's 5 gallons an hour. That's
Well,
correct.
that's 120 gallons. So how many
But no, I'm
tanks is
talking
that?
12 cars, 12 vehicles. I'm talking vehicles.
Everything can be
Depends
built
on the
to
number
scale.
of the number of
You add
spheres
another
that you
compressor, you add
have.
another storage
Exactly.
vessel.
Depends on the number of spheres you have. So
I always design stuff to scale. I start out small, and you can add more compressors, you can add more storage, what have you. There's also bigger compressors. Like I said, if you wanted to pay more, you put a higher horsepower compressor in. Those little ones that I had showed you there, those are 7.5 horsepower. Those little guys, that box. That's all it is a little 7.5 horsepower motor.
What was the 365?
That's a 75 horsepower.
Okay, now what does that do?
That it's going to pass about 3/4 of a gallon a minute. That's this one here. That compressor will recover at 3/4 of a gallon a minute. So you can literally fast fill right off the compressor with that. You don't even need storage if you didn't want it.
So that's a fast fill, could be a fast fill system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
it's all a matter of cost and what we're willing to spend.
Exactly.
20 minutes is fast filling?
Compared to
There really isn't
hours, I
anything
guess.
that we can't design to meet the customer's needs. We just did a station in Tampa, 10 gallons a minute through the nozzle. But you got 250 horsepower compressors out there.
Sure.
So, and they're almost $500,000 a piece. So you're talking a whole different animal now if you want to.
Well,
something that.
and you got to walk before you run.
Yeah.
So-
So I didn't come in here to try and sell you on $1 million worth of equipment. I'm just trying to help you guys come up with a reasonable solution to get the city started and being clean, being green, being cost effective, being smart. That's it. Sure.
How are the compressors powered? Are they powered by electricity or by CNG?
Great question. They are powered either way. Typical, this one here that you're looking at is an electric drive system. It's a direct drive. Typically, we'll put a soft start system on that to keep the power cost down. And those of you who don't understand that, when you put a large compressor online on Duke's system, for example, and you go to crank that thing up the first time and it spikes, the power draw spikes, that's where they set your rate. So now if you've got a 250 horsepower compressor, it might cost you $10,000 a month in power bill. Well, that kills your savings. So you have to be smart about those types of things. We have natural gas drive systems where instead of having that electric motor, we have a Caterpillar or a Cummins engine that's in there that turns that compressor, runs off natural gas. It's considerably more efficient, but the maintenance is going to be more because now you got another piece of equipment you got to maintain. But the trade-off is still far better than electric drive. Okay. Did I answer your question? Okay.
Any other questions?
I guess one question I have.
Sure.
If I get 20 miles a gallon in my car, I use compressed natural gas. Am I getting the same 20 miles a gallon, or am I getting more?
Great question. Right now, gasoline has ethanol in it. When ethanol came into play, and you've probably heard this before, when it says 25 to 30 miles per gallon on the sticker on the side of the window, you're not getting that. That's based on gasoline at high octane with no ethanol. So natural gas has no ethanol. So what happens is I need 125 standard cubic feet of natural gas to flow through the meter over here to create a gasoline gallon equivalent or the same BTU heat value as a gallon of gasoline without ethanol. So what I'm saying to you is, if you have natural gas vehicles that were burning on gasoline, you're going to get better gas mileage than you would on gasoline because there's no ethanol in CNG. Now, it's not going to be a lot more, but you're going to get a couple more miles a gallon on the CNG for sure over gasoline. Now, on the diesel side, it's the opposite because the heat value is much different with diesel than it is with CNG. So, you know, you're going to give up a couple miles per gallon on the diesel side. But the cost factor on diesel is a lot better than gasoline, the savings. So it's a trade-off, you know, it's a trade-off.
Well, I know when Waste Pro put their fueling station in Fort Pierce, they said that in 1 year they'd save $600,000 in fuel costs, just in 1 year.
Yeah. So. And I would imagine that station that they put in is probably about 1.2, 1.3 million. They've got an upcharge per trash truck probably of around $50,000 per truck. So it's a substantial amount, but at $600,000 a year, you could probably pay that off in less than 5 years. The typical trash truck in America today, folks, the payback on natural gas is 18 to 24 months. So it's a no-brainer. If you're running refuse trucks, you want them on CNG. I also found out recently from some folks that I know that the refuse manufacturers are taking orders from customers at a pace of 80%. 80% of all the refuse trucks in the continental U.S. today that are on order are natural gas. Only 20% are diesel now.
We don't own any refuse trucks and are not anticipating buying any. We're not in. We have a contract.
It's just a fact that I thought it's important for you to know that even with the price of oil at $30 a barrel, it really hasn't stopped people from going to CNG.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the presentation.
You're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, under brief announcements, we have the Sebastian Fine Art Music Festival coming up this weekend, 1/16, and it's Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
City Hall is closed on Monday for Martin Luther King Day. And the 21st through the 24th will be the Fellsmere Frog Leg Festival. So there you go. Any other announcements?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I might as well, but Michelle should have did it when you were giving it a Pele Award. Sebastian, they have their Police Citizens Academy for this year, which is starting on January 21st. It'll be Thursday nights running for 12 weeks, going from 6:30 to 8:30 at night. I mean, again, it showcases our police department. They hold typically the meetings over there. Not only are they showing you the inner workings of the Sebastian Police Department, they have a lot of very good speakers that come out from Department of Environmental Protection, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Fish and Wildlife, and then they take you on a tour. You go down and see the courthouse.
You go to jail. You go to jail.
I think one of the best tours is going down to see the jail there. And what's the age limit, Michelle? 16? Because you've had some... Okay, but the applications are in the back of the room. They're also in the lobby, or you can go to the Sebastian Police Department at www.sebastianpd.org. It's a great experience. I mean, they go through applications. They don't just let anybody in. They'll let me come and talk every once in a while.
Well, they let me in, but I had to get special exception, I think.
Right. But it's very good, and again, it just showcases the wonderful job that our police department does. Thank you, Michelle.
All righty. With that, we will now recess the council meeting and convene as the Community Redevelopment Agency. We'll call to order and have the roll call again.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're combining a lot of meetings, so we're just going to do that real quick. Mayor Gilmore.
Here.
Vice Mayor Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Coy.
Yes, here.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Here.
And Councilmember Hill is absent.
All right. Now, item number B is approval of the CRA minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it passes unanimously. Item number C is approve wastewater hookup grant application of $5,000 to Allen Properties LLC, Wendy's. Mr. Griffin?
Yes, sir. Since January 2013, we have had a wastewater hookup grant program in place that would provide $5,000 grants in the CRA for businesses or individuals towards converting from septic to sewer. A application is in front of the CRA this evening for Wendy's. The taxes have been paid, and there's evidence of that in your packet. A copy of the deed is in place, and also the design plan, the sealed design plan is, a copy of that is in your packet. We are recommending approval.
I'd like to move approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there anyone from the public that would speak on this? Seeing none, we need a roll call on this, do we not?
Yes. Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Coy?
Yes.
Mr. McPartland?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, that passes unanimously, and we will now adjourn the CRA meeting and pick
No,
back up.
we have one more.
No.
One more? Oh.
D.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Award CRA Landscape Services Agreement to Amaron. Mr. Griffin.
Yes, sir. Too long, we've experienced our ups and downs in landscape services in the CRA. Through no fault of some of our city workers down there, we've had some problems when there are vacations, when there are people who are out sick, and it has resulted in a non-standard landscape services that we've had down there, especially in Riverside Park. And that also extends to the pest control that we've had down there. We do have a huge fire ant problem down there from time to time seasonally, but nonetheless we have that. In light of that, the Public Works Director and myself, we went out and did a solicitation of qualifications, and 2 entities answered that. That closed on November 25th. We interviewed both of those entities, and we asked those 2 companies to each submit a money bid, which we then evaluated along with their qualifications. We selected Amaron, which is a Sebastian company, that they would supply landscape services in the CRA, the whole CRA, along Indian River Drive, also Central Avenue and the Community Center, especially Riverview Park and the Veterans Memorial, and their bid was $156,450 per year. We are recommending approval. If council does approve this evening, I would ask that they also authorize the city manager to execute that contract.
I'd like to move approval and authorize the city manager to execute the contract.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there anyone here that would speak on this item? I do have one question, and maybe you can tell me the difference between a RFQ and an RFP. And maybe give me some ideas as to why we did one process and not the other.
Again, Frank Watanabe, your public works director and city engineer. Typically, what you want to do when you go in for a general contract services, where we hire a contractor, you're based it on a bid price. Typically, the lowest bid you go for, and that's what we usually do with an RFP, request for a proposal. When you start going after professional services, typically, and really on like engineering or architecture, you have to go through a competitive bidding under state law, under the CCNA process. However, when you start going after other professional areas that not under that umbrella, typically you could say like we did for landscaping. I've seen for other areas in terms of other services that are more professional, but not under that umbrella, like an engineer or architect. They want to hire based on best qualifications. So most cities then send out an SOQ, Statement of Qualifications. No numbers, just qualifications. You rank them based on qualifications, and then you select based on price. And that's what the process we went through. We were concerned if we went on fee only, we'll get low firms, and typically what you'll get will be the one-man landscaping firms. Nothing against them, but since we were looking at such a high area and such a high profile area, we wanted a more professional company, and that's why we went with the statement of qualification.
Okay. Any other comments?
I guess that would run into the same problem we had with the ditches that time, when we put it out for the lowest bid, and we got the lowest bid, and they didn't necessarily meet the qualifications.
Correct. Next time we're going to do the statement of qualifications.
Right. And of course, everything here was all advertised the way it was supposed to be. It was on the website, everything else.
That's correct.
Vice Mayor Adams?
Yes, quick question. As far as the cost, can you say what the cost was that the other person who responded, or the company that responded, what their total cost would have been?
Their cost was $161,000, roughly $161,754. Coincidentally, the mayor and I talked about that this week, and we ran the numbers also. One of the things that the other company was going to do was Conlon was which was an extra $8,000, was a month-long cleanup, fix-up, where they were going to charge us this $8,500 or something like that. So that was the extra. They were very close in price. Where we made the distinction was really on qualifications. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that we were going to get out of this bid, and ultimately from somebody who we award, or the council awards the contract to, would be a company that would be very responsive to us, obviously, that would be uniformed properly, whose trucks would be clean and marked in as perfect a manner as they could. Cleanliness, friendliness, attention to detail, some of those things. That's where really I based my selection. And then the price really fell into line. So if we look at the price, they're both very close. I made my selection on really their qualifications.
Okay, and you were saying as far as using staff, there were issues with, people going on vacation and not the same quality of work being done. I'm just wondering, though, if there was any other way we could have addressed that, if it would probably have been cheaper if we'd stayed with using our staff. Just wondered if you had looked at those. I'm sure you did, but just wondered if you could give me that comfort level.
Yes, sir. We ran those numbers. Frank and I ran those numbers along with Ken. And to provide those overages for people on vacation, people out sick, equipment, trucks, everything, fixed costs plus variable costs in there, we felt like it was in excess of what we had here. So we also felt like, we have these folks who are locked into the parks maintenance area, and we can't transfer them over to roads and drainage and back and forth. We felt like this was the only viable alternative that we had. Would I have liked to done that with city employees? Yes and no. I wanted to make sure, number one, with a professional company that we could hold accountable through the contract process, where we have enough escape clauses that's going to protect the city. I wanted to make sure, or I felt like we could have more control as to the quality of work in the CRA, and that was really one of my main motivations.
How long is the contract, or how long would the contract be for if it's approved?
This is a 3-year contract with 2 automatic extensions. We would get to the 30-day or 60-day period in the contract when comes up for expiration, and then we could cancel the contract by giving them proper notice.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other
Just a couple comments. I think this is an excellent choice. Amaron has been around for a long, long time in the city. I was introduced to that company way back when, actually during right after the hurricanes. And so that's 11 years ago when I first came on city council. And as a home builder, they were extraordinarily responsive to cleaning up their construction sites, helping people rebuild. They had an excellent reputation and always have as a home builder. We have also had very, very, very good service from them in our pest control. They're under contract to us, and again, have been very responsive to our requests. Hey, there's fire ants over here, you know, and boom, they're there. So they have proven that. They're professionals, and there's no doubt in my mind that if the city manager calls and is unhappy with something, it will be fixed the next day, if not sooner. So I'm thrilled that you have looked at them favorably. I'm inclined to do that too. I have one quick question. In looking at the addresses, I know where Amaron's building is. It's a commercial building on Main Street, or 512 and South Easy. Where is 706 South Easy? Where is Conlon? That's the address they're using as their business. Where is that? That's South Easy, so that's got to be south of you guys.
What's the address?
706. There's no...
Isn't Dale 766, I think?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is a residence?
Apparently so.
Just
That looks like Collier
That's
Creek.
just interesting to me. It's... Okay. That's
To my regret, I would have to say I didn't pick up on that. I thought they were Fort Pierce.
Well, yeah, they're using their business address as a residence. I mean, I know everybody knows where. So I would hope that they have an office, an appropriate office space. Not Amaron, not you guys. Your address is good. Not you. Your address is fine. I know where your place is. My question was for the other company. So next time they put in a bid, they might want to look at that, because that's weird.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you,
We
ma'am.
don't allow a business there like that, on that scale. So anyway, I'm ready to call the question.
Well, let's do it.
Ms. Coy?
Yes.
Mr. McPartland?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Adams?
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else on CRA business? Seeing none, we will reconvene as a city council meeting, and next up is the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right. Is there anyone from, we don't have public comment on that. So, do we? On the consent? Okay, let's just have a vote on that now.
Mr. McPartland?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Coy?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. That's passed unanimously. Committee reports and appointments. Any committee reports? I can report that we had the initial, not initial, not the first one, but we had the first one in Sebastian. We had the Indian River Lagoon Council meeting in Chambers here, and that was on Friday. Everyone that sat up here and that was involved in it was just blown away by our folks, by our facility, by just everything. They were very pleased and very impressed with the way this is all put together, and all the folks that work here did a great job. One of the neat things is that during that meeting, Doug Bernique spoke about a meeting coming up from St. John's Water Management District, and it was in Palatka, and it was yesterday, and he was really thrilled because they were going to be looking at 2 water farming areas, one out by Fellsmere, that would take the overflow in from the Fellsmere Canal that dumps into St. Sebastian. And there's another plot of land that was also strategically placed. It's also here in Indian River County. And both of those plots of land were going to be, that was going to be coming up at the meeting, the St. John's Water Management District meeting on Tuesday. Our Executive Director, Dwayne DeFree, said, well, I'll be there in Plaquemine. I'll speak for that, because that'd be a great thing if we could get water farming here and take out some of the pollutants that are going into the lagoon through the St. Sebastian River. He was there and happy to report that it was passed by St. John's yesterday. So I don't know how many millions of dollars that is, maybe $1 or $2 million coming into our county. But the most important thing is water farming will start, and we'll be limiting the amount of pollutants going into the lagoon. So that's a really great outcome. Would that have happened had we not had the Indian River Lagoon Council? I don't know, but it's possible that wouldn't have come into being had we not been the home of the Indian River Lagoon Council. So that's a possibility. Anyway, that's good news.
Can I, since we're talking about the council, this time of year, I see we've reserved some spots for the Lagoon Council out there. I don't know if you've been out back in the afternoons lately, but between the high school students and the senior center, do we really need to have reserved spots for the Indian River Lagoon Council?
I think we do. Yeah, we do.
Really?
Sure.
That sit there empty when other people need them?
Well, you have to understand that they're just getting fired up. We're going to be hiring some folks.
Are they handicapped?
No.
No. I'm just asking the question politely, because I saw these, and I see these spots empty, and I see senior citizens walking long distances to get into a building.
Then I would say we need some more designated handicap spots closer to wherever they're going.
Yeah, we can.
Maybe we just need to put cones out there the days that the council's going.
I would suggest that the days that they're going to meet, that we know that they're going to be there. I mean, we don't even have, you don't have a reserve spot as the mayor. I'm not getting why.
Well, here, let me just explain. They're going to be working over in that building every day.
Indian River,
Yeah.
the college works there every day.
Well, yeah, they do.
Every day they
Yeah.
work there. The Historical Society is there. The Senior Center is open 6 days a week, 7 if they wanted to use it on Sundays. So there are people using the buildings every single day, and we don't reserve spots for them. The city manager doesn't have a spot. You and I don't have a spot. But yet we chose to give the...
That
I don't
wasn't my
understand.
call. That didn't come from me.
Okay, well, I'm just asking, do you mind if we, maybe instead, when we know there's going to be a big meeting, we can set some cones?
It has nothing to do with the meetings. It was done as a courtesy by the city manager, because that's going to be the home of the Indian River Lagoon Council, and they're going to work out of that building.
Do you have any heartburn?
I don't, and I'll take responsibility for this. It wasn't the mayor's call. It wasn't anybody else's call. It was my call, in an effort to try to make them feel at home and special.
And I want them to feel at home and special. I want them to feel really good. And I want
So
them
how
to
are they going to
stay.
feel when we wipe that out? Oh, I'm sorry, we had a spot for you, but you know what? We changed our mind. Is that going to look nice?
How many spots are we talking about?
3.
3 is a lot of spots for the
Right,
space
in
over there.
prime space, too. It's not 3 in the corner. It's 3
You
right...
know what? It's a council decision. So we'll put it on the agenda, and then we'll vote for it. How's that?
That sounds like a wonderful
Okay,
idea.
let's do it.
do that. Thank you. I guess that was your welcome.
Public hearings, we have none. Unfinished business, Mr. Griffin.
At the last meeting on December 16th, Vice Mayor Adams asked me to start the discussion about unmanned aircraft systems or drones. Coincidentally, there has been a lot of news about drones and legislation, regulation, ordinances that have been passed by various municipalities, counties, etc. The FAA was supposed to come out, they were supposed to promulgate some regulations last September, September of 15. They failed to do so. However, they did come out with a regulation of registration of drones, which has started. And it's a minimal cost, and it covers drones that are 0.55 pounds or above. I supplied some, in your packet, I supplied some information, a little light reading on unmanned aircraft systems, questions and answers. But I think one of the main things that you'll find in your packet is a news article taken from a Maine newspaper, which talks about drones and possible FAA regulation, where they talk about federal preemption, and if there is anything undertaken by a municipality, state, or county, that it does have the possibility of being preempted by any future FAA regulation. So I'd like you to take special note of that. Also, what I did include was examples of ordinances and resolutions from 2 municipalities or counties and how they dealt with drone regulation. So I'd like to turn it back to council and look for your direction on any possible future regulation that you'd like to undertake.
Vice Mayor Adams, you brought this up, so why don't you lead off?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Joe, for researching this for me. As you say, the FAA should have put some regulations out there, which they have not. And as reading the articles that you've provided, the FAA airspace that they normally regulate is 400 feet and above. So my thing is, even if they do put some regulations in effect, it might not cover that 400 feet or less, which is the areas that we would be mostly concerned with. My standpoint is I would like to have some regulation out there for that 400 feet or less, so that we can protect our residences, people's privacy, our airspace over our airport, so that nothing gets interfered with, even though we haven't had any issues. But at the same time, not hinder our police force if we have or look into getting drones for, crime fighting purposes or whatever. But I would still like to have something in effect for our city to protect our residents, our airspace. The preemption, I don't see it affecting us as far as that 400 feet or less area that the FAA is concerned with. And at the same time, if that does become an issue, we could write it into whatever ordinance, resolution, whatever, that if such a thing happens, then the FAA's regulations would take precedence.
I agree 100% with your thoughts and have the same concerns. But I recall back when we were talking about the kite guy that the airplanes, with the lawnmowers with wings, because there were concerns, these guys fly very, very low. They're very, very noisy, some of them. And when in our discussion, I remember something about the FAA would not allow us, that the space that you and I perhaps consider, directly above our house, within our, that 400 feet that goes straight up, it's my understanding that it's not mined from those conversations. Am I recalling that wrong? And I don't like it for a minute, don't get me wrong.
I don't know the significance of the 400 feet. I really don't understand that, because what you see from the FAA is they control anything that flies, no matter what the altitude.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the significance of the 400 feet, but nonetheless, it's there. One of the things that I remember that did come up when we had this discussion before about the flying lawn chairs was the issue about enforcement, and that could be kind of a sticky situation here with whatever council chooses to do with this for a possible ordinance, is the enforcement capability where, just hypothetically, we could be sitting in my home operating the drone that's 2 blocks away, and how would the police know who's operating that drone or where it's coming from? And this could put some potential problems on our police department, but then again, it would put infinite problems on the FAA. They would have the same problems, and the closest FSDO, Flight Services District Office, is up in Orlando, and are they going to send people down here into all these municipalities to try to regulate or enforce laws about drones? I think it's very problematic, and from my position, I worry about what kind of effect that's going to have on our police department. How are we going to enforce it? So it's one of my worries, but I'm open to whatever the council, whatever direction we want to go here.
Do we have a drone problem?
Well, I think we do, and I'll tell you why. I had someone ask me about this. He said that he was sitting in his pool, and one of these things came right over his pool. Before, going back 5-10 years ago, there was never an issue. And certainly if somebody is flying a remote-controlled airplane, they go to a particular place to fly that. There's a place out by the pool, the county pool. They have a RC, radio-controlled field out there that people go and fly their airplanes out there. We have an area, I think it's north of the airport, where there's a place for radio-controlled airplanes there. You would never think of flying a radio-controlled airplane from your backyard because they're dangerous. I mean, they're dangerous. With the drones now, those things can carry cameras, video cameras. They can carry still, digital cameras, GoPros. And I really think that we need to come up with an ordinance that protects the privacy of our people here. If you go on a website and you look for sexual predators, they're all over.
How many did they sell Christmas time? I mean,
a bunch.
Hundreds of thousands of these things were sold. Imagine cameras, and in the hand of a predator. Hey, I wasn't 50 feet. I was 100 feet. That was my little airplane taking pictures.
So if we put an ordinance on the books, sure, I'm sure we're going to have problems enforcing it. But most people are law-abiding, and if they know that they can go someplace and fly them, I'm not saying you shouldn't fly them. I'm just saying go to an appropriate place and have your fun. Go fly it with the radio-controlled airplanes, or fly it out at the airport, or take it to an appropriate spot where you're not going to impede on someone else's privacy. I think we need an ordinance, and I think you can craft one that is sufficient, that will allow the police, when they have to show up and try to determine if something bad's going on, they should be able to use them in their work. I saw one of the ordinances in here exempted real estate professionals if they were using a drone to capture a picture of a house they were trying to market. I mean, I don't know. I think we can work with it, come up with something that works, and just say, look, if you're going to use a drone, that's fine, but take it to an appropriate place and fly it in an appropriate place.
At least in my mind, at least if we have something on the books, people are aware of it, and they'll know that there'll be consequences if it's inappropriately used. But at least we'll have it there, even if we're not experiencing a problem right now.
I can see lots of problems with people being really offended that, hey, there's that thing's up there taking pictures of my family in the pool, and out come the pellet guns and I mean, that would be my first thing, how to get that out of the sky.
Yeah.
How do I get that thing? So, I mean, I see some issues down the road.
Yeah, it is going to be difficult to enforce, but I'm hoping that
I've got some ideas.
Having the knowledge that there is something out there and there are consequences for that behavior will be enough to deter people from using it in an improper manner, as opposed to not having anything out there and people just doing as they please. And then you have your residents taking the law into their own hands and causing even possibly more problems.
So what I'm hearing,
It seems a little bit silly to me. If the drone's flying over my house, I got a slingshot, I'm gonna take it out. I mean, if you're worried about a sexual predator has it in your thing, you just call the police department. I'm sure they can come in, and if that guy's got any video and he's a registered sexual offender, it's the same thing. They shouldn't be on computers, but they get access to smartphones. It just seems they're not flying around all over the place. This is the first year then by my son, one of them helicopter ones, because the last 2 Christmas mornings, they took off and flew in the wind and they disappeared. Most of them are gonna be, kids doing it with no malintent, and it's just like, we're just doing something where there's not a problem now. Why are you doing it? It's gonna be the little kid who gets in trouble. If there's a drone flying over your pool, and you don't have a slingshot or a gun to shoot it out of the sky. No, I'm sure if you call law enforcement, there's got to be a public nuisance, or it's like a peeping Tom in your window. I mean, it's the same thing, but to create something for this drone, I don't know, whatever you want to do, but I mean, it just seems a little silly to me that
Mr. Mayor, if I
doing
may.
that when the FAA can override whatever you're doing or anything. We have it on the books, but we can't enforce it because we got to go up to Orlando to get somebody to come down here. It's just, I don't know, seems a little ridiculous.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
It's my primary reason starting out was not even about residences. My primary reason was concern for safety at our airports, even though we haven't had any issues. But we've seen it all on TV where there have been numerous incidents with close calls with aircraft and drones. That was my primary reason for it. This is something else that's an additional issue that you could have. So it's not really that we're trying to, or I shouldn't say we, that I'm trying to encourage us to do an ordinance or something for the residents only. I'm looking also at the impact it could have on our airport and anyone that's flying an aircraft that may be interfered by a drone and cause, loss of life.
Well, you can't operate these things by the airport.
You're not
You
supposed
your remote
to.
control plane by the airport.
You're
can
not
you?
supposed to, but the people have done it.
So if we put a law on the books, they're still not going to do it. I mean, there's a problem going on with hoverboards blowing up. So should we put an ordinance, no hoverboards in the city of Sebastian unless it's been inspected by this, because we don't want something to happen? I mean, we can't create ordinances for everything that's out there. I mean, there's probably signs and there's probably FAA because they can only operate so many things. I'm sure if somebody's out there with a drone, there's a law in the books that they're going to get arrested. Is that correct?
I don't think there is.
Chief's
Can't
shaking her
just-
head no in the back.
There's nothing.
If
nothing
I'm
on the
operating
books.
a drone by the airport and they call the airport, isn't there something on there that you can only operate within a certain amount of feet?
I think they can't be within, is it 4 or 5 miles of an airport?
Chief Morris, could you come up and give us a hand with this?
Oh, that's right, 4 or 5 miles from the airport. That's right, I read that. So there's a big circle.
What's your take on this whole, are we, boxing at shadows, or is this something that?
I will tell you it is a problem. Unfortunately, in the neighborhoods, we are being called to disputes of neighbors using drones, and it is against the law, I'm sorry to say, Mr. McPartland, to damage the property of someone else's property. So we
So you're going to
certainly
jail
do
with
not
a slingshot.
encourage.
Not if it's over
We
my
certainly do not encourage anyone to damage somebody's drone. We encourage them to call us. But right now, there are not a lot of laws governing this. Obviously, if it was a sex offender and we were able to pinpoint, yes, we would be able to articulate why we would charge that person. But I feel that they're going to have some things in the laws in the near future. As far as the airport goes, it is against the law for them to be near the airplanes and the airports. And I don't know exactly is it 400 or 4 miles?
Airport operating area, they say up to 5 miles, but 1,000 feet and 3 mile radius. I don't, and the 400 feet for the life of me. I mean, but you have airplanes operating underneath 400 feet who are in the touch and go pattern, obviously. So I don't know the significance of 400 feet. I'm sorry, I just can't.
I think it would definitely behoove us to look at an ordinance to get those in place until the state does come up with some laws that are going to govern this, because it is becoming a huge problem everywhere. I mean, we literally have neighbors that are upset with another neighbor, and they're sending drones over to take pictures because they don't like what's in their backyard and sending it to code enforcement. So, I mean, this is really becoming quite a hot topic. And then we're having some bickering back and forth. So it is taking a lot of our time to address some of these. And then that's not even to go into the people that are using them for illegal matters. And unfortunately, law enforcement aren't allowed to use them without warrants. So, but I think, my opinion would be that we look at this.
Well, is there enough consensus that we at least should put this on the agenda for, can you come up with some kind of an ordinance that we can debate next time? Okay.
Certainly can.
All right. Is there anyone from the public that would like to talk about this? Yes, sir. Come on up. No, come on up.
I don't want to drag this out anymore. Why don't we just insist that they license them like a dog? You got a drone and you want to fly.
Sorry, what's your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Al Manzi, 742 Holden Avenue, Sebastian, Florida. And I don't want to drag this out any longer, but if you feel that we do an ordinance, make them register them like they would a dog. And they can't fly it outside of their property unless they get a permit. All this costs money, less use. Can I stay here for the public meeting, for the public input?
You can come back up in a minute, yes. All right. I think we're done with this. Is there anybody else that would like to have any public comment? Okay. Now, public input. Now you can come back up, sir.
Hi, Al Manzi, 742 Holden Avenue, Sebastian, Florida. I'm here today to talk about something that's dear to my heart. I'm not gonna ask for a response from you people. I just want to input. All right. My first question that I wish you would ask to whoever it is did the Collier Creek Estates Homeowners Association tick the town crews off, or the powers that be in town? Because we seem to get the short end of the stick all the time. And I'm saying, when we request town services, we either get no response, no communication. Well, we're going to take care of that next week, next month. That's just nothing. I came in, I put a written request in. You'll hear from somebody in 24 hours. It was like 2 weeks later, I finally got after I went back and insisted, I got a phone call from somebody. And the input I got from that employee was, as far as I was concerned, didn't make a lot of sense. I'm pleased to hear that you're going to be having a lot of town crew available. Maybe now you can respond to some citizens' requests for services. All right. There seems to be plenty of manpower and equipment for other projects. Why not our area? Why not our area, our particular?
Can you be a little specific about what you're talking about?
I'm talking about potholes, the roads in general in our area, which is South Easy, from Angler to South Rimbaud. That section of road. All right. Repeated repairs, when crews respond, they address some of the holes, but not others. I just wonder, are the crews being micromanaged? Are they told to go to, 758 and repair 2 6-inch holes? Because just adjacent to where those 2 6-inch holes are, there's some 2-inch holes or 4-inch holes. They don't get filled. The 2 6-inch holes get filled. All right? Recent repairs, after repeated calls from people in the area, they come out and they fill the holes with dry rock. It doesn't last. The rocks end up getting bounced out on the side of the road. And I had made a disc showing some of the potholes in their area. The worst spot in the whole street is between Becker and Fleming, which just happens to be the newest part of South Easy on our side, all right? Just on the other side of South Wimbrow, the whole road was replaced from 512 to South Wimbrow. Beautiful job, beautiful job. It's not like you guys don't know how to build roads. You know how to build a road. All right. I just wonder why you would send people out to repair specific holes with just rock. Does cold patch not be understood? Again, I'm not asking for an immediate response to me. It would be nice, but I know I've used cold patch. In fact, I went to Home Depot today and double checked that that cold patch could be used in all kinds of weather. Wet weather does not affect it, right? I have a question that's, what are the specs for a road to be accepted? The stretch from Becker to Fleming is the newest but in worse shape. Is there any recourse for the town for roads that were accepted but were now found to be unacceptable? It just seems that portion of the road has deteriorated very rapidly and is not being addressed properly. Also, the corners, people turn to corners like just from coming off of Angler into South Easy, that corner is badly eroded. You got a mud hole there, and it's getting worse and worse all the time. The same entranceway in Angler, where we have our sign, we thought we'd put up a nice sign, have it illuminated at night. We got Brazilian peppers growing out of the culvert that we requested the town crew just to cut the Brazilian peppers back. No response. No, we're getting 2 months from now, we're going to get there, nothing. I think at least we should receive is a phone call back saying, this is the schedule. When I questioned when the potholes were going to be repaired properly, I was told they're waiting for an asphalt truck to be bought. That shocked me, because with blacktop, I'm not talking about doing the whole road over, which I think it needs, but address the potholes. You're driving down an area that I think we try to maintain nicely, and you got all these ruts in the road. I think it's the worst stretch of road in the whole town.
I think you're mistaken, but you've got about a minute left, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
one other thing. The driveway caps, the culvert pipe runs into the driveways. I understand that, I don't know what the spec is, but there's no footing for those. So the first time there's any pressure put on those caps, that concrete breaks. I would suggest maybe we might look at changing the spec of that, where they have a footing, where if a car does go over it, it doesn't snap off, and the town end up doing the repair. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for serving.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
could I'd like to address a few things.
Yes, sir.
The gentleman talked about. This was one of the reasons why we came to you in October with the city engineer's assessment of roads. And we came and made appropriations and canceled some projects for that $723,000 appropriation that we requested to handle those 5 roads that Frank, the city engineer, was a result of his assessment. One of the things that the gentleman talked about was, why do we put the coquina rock in these holes and then don't put coal patch on top of it? What happens is, if it's wet, we can't do that. We put the coal patch on top of that, and it rains, that comes right up, and we're back out there the next day. The gentleman talked about the fact that we're waiting for an asphalt truck. That's not true. Perhaps he got that information from an individual who shouldn't have given him that information. It's true. An asphalt truck is on our wish list, and it'll probably be coming before you in next year's budget cycle. But what we do now is we wait until we have enough potholes to justify getting about 4,000 pounds of asphalt and put it in a dump truck, hot asphalt, and then come up there and try to do them all at once. The coal patch is just that, something that's temporary. And another thing that's been going on for the past 3 weeks is that the asphalt plant has been shut down. The asphalt plant that we use down at Vero Beach has been shut down. So that's been another problem for us. So if the gentleman would remember that we do have a citizen's request line, 581-0111, or if he needs to call me, my office, I'm certainly happy to take that call and listen to those things. And I'll give him the straight information on asphalt trucks and coal patch and some of the other things. And my number is 388-8200. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The citizen line, too, for the complaints to be going in, what is that, 589?
581-0111.
That will get you a standard, okay, yeah, he's busy talking. Mr. Manzi, 581-0111 is the citizen line, and that will get you, instead of trying to reach a department specific or a person specific, we're trying to use that citizen line to funnel when you call in. Because we have had a problem with somebody calling a specific office and then not getting a response. And we want to fix that. So we're trying to funnel the complaint calls, whether it be for a swale or a pothole or anything that you have a complaint about, through that one phone number, so we have a centralized place to make sure that we get back to people and don't have any open holes. So would recommend to that you 581-0111.
All right, any more public comment? Yes, sir, come on.
Evening, Ben Hawker, Sebastian. Down at the Sebastian Yacht Club, we've been persistently, people have been coming here inquiring about filling holes that occur along the sidewalk where the bulkhead is. Our new contractor who's taking care of the yacht club, I believe they put in some dirt and filled it, which the city has done multiple times in the past. Well, after they filled it, the rain came, and we have the same holes again. And people have fallen in it, we've taken a garbage can and just put it over the hole that has appeared as a sinkhole, so to speak. The bulkhead is failing, and it might be something to look into. I think in your budget, though, you only put $16,000 for maintenance at the yacht club, which entailed planks on the walkway. If somebody might have some input on that. The other thing is, I had a buddy of mine who's in a homeowners association in a new tract development. With his homeowner's contract, even though the roadways were turned over to the city, they still had the responsibility for putting a 1-inch layer of blacktop onto the roadways. He was rather upset about this because all the people in that homeowners association got reassessed for about $200 a home. There might be something in Collier Creek's homeowners association that might be pertinent to that. I know when they did their plat, they had to give right-of-ways, but have they actually turned over the roads to the city? And is the original homeowners association responsible for the first 1 inch added to the construction road base? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Bruce Zingman. Very proud of Sebastian. Yes, I'm wearing a different hat today. It's not the parade, but first you mentioned Shop with a Cop. We happen to have a team that was ringing the bell that night, and all these 20, 30 police vehicles came with the lights flashing. People asked me, what's going on? I said, it's a raid, but then I explained what Shop with a Cop was. I have to tell you, all these, from every agency in the county came, 3 school buses of children, and each police person was given a $100 gift card and took a child, and they were allowed to buy whatever they wanted. Some bought for their family, for themselves, and if they were just going up over a little bit, I saw the police person put their hand in their pocket and paid the extra. So really, we have to thank all our police personnel. Reason I'm here tonight, I'm wearing, Friends of the St. Sebastian River. Each year we review applications for our annual Environmental Enhancement Award. Consideration is given to individuals, businesses, organizations that we believe have done the most in the past year to help protect and preserve the St. Sebastian River and its surrounding habitat. The recipient of our award for 2015 is the City of Sebastian. The city has been addressing ongoing issues with stormwater for many years, a difficult issue within the city, due in part to early development when regulations were less than adequate to address stormwater issues. Today, the city has established a stormwater utility to help with ongoing maintenance of stormwater conveyance, mitigation, and treatment. The City of Sebastian was the first municipality in Indian River County to establish and subsequently strengthen a fertilizer ordinance. The ordinance is a helpful component of efforts to protect and heal our surrounding water bodies due to the unique soil conditions of Florida. Sebastian has also been a strong proponent of the Indian River Lagoon Coalition and the establishment of the Indian River Lagoon Council that will manage the Indian River Lagoon National Estuary Program, offering space within the city facilities for the offices. Additionally, the city has received the Florida League of Nations 2015 Environmental Stewardship Award for its stormwater monitoring program. Therefore, we are pleased and will be able to present the City of Sebastian with our own 2015 Environmental Enhancement Award and encourage the city to continue its efforts to improve water quality and habitat for all residents and species that call Sebastian home. So we were inviting the mayor on Tuesday, January 26th, 7:30 p.m. at our North County Library, where we will hand the award, and it's for everybody. And we're inviting everybody because there'll be the program will be the Magical Mystical Manatee Tour with John Warner. But we're inviting you guys.
I'll put it on my calendar. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bruce. Is there anyone else for public comment? Yes, sir. Come on up.
If I may, Dave Wortman, Sebastian resident. Sorry about the earlier disturbance, but I just wanted you to know the Marine Corps was here. Right, Joe? Back in, let's see, 2012, January 26th, I requested the permission from the council to support a memorial walkway down at the park. Very graciously, it went through. It's still an ongoing program. I just wanted to give you a report tonight, seeing how this holiday season has passed us by. The Committee for the Riverview Memorial Walkway Assisting Homeless Veterans raised enough money for Thanksgiving and Christmas donations. Donations were made to By the River, which is a senior housing community, VFW Post 10210, the Food Pantry on Roseland Road, and the Sebastian Aries Eagles Lodge 4067. By the River was given donations of food and pantry necessities for 43 people. We were able to feed 50 families through the food pantry, plus 7 fully cooked dinners distributed to the Veterans Service Office down at Sebastian here. Post 10210 received turkeys and hams to cook for their Thanksgiving dinner. The Eagles was donated a $200 award for the Children's of Veterans Christmas Party. Donations totaled approximately $3,500. Our committee members, which consist of myself and my wife, Wayne and Susan Bruce, Mickey and Joyce McLaughlin, all would like to thank everyone who has donated to this program. Without any of the donations from this procedure, this would not have been possible. We continue to look to the community and the visitors to the area to support these efforts by buying a memorial brick for someone that they love, whether they be deceased or not, okay? Anybody that wishes to participate in the program can look us up on the website, which is veteransmemorialbricks.org, or call me 954-818-7405. Our email address is davidwortman@comcast.net. Again, I would like to thank the council for all their efforts and participation. I continuously try to keep up the good looks of the area. Through the donations from Walmart, they have supplied all the flags that we put around that area. And also, we've had a lot of support from the American Legion, as well as the VFW, and also the Elks Lodge here in Sebastian. And I hope that's a good note for everybody to hear.
Very good. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Any other public comment? Seeing none. We are now to new business, resolution number R-16-01. Griffin.
Ken Kilgore, our CFO, will make this report, sir.
This report's in the normal format that we use for our quarterly reporting. It is for the quarter ending September 30th, which is also the end of our fiscal year. I can report to you in just a brief summary that the department spent 98.3% of their budgets, which kept us within our targets. We probably have a couple $100,000 of surplus from last year that we would be putting into our equipment reserve. This was reviewed in full and in quite some detail by the Budget Committee on this past Monday night, and I'd be glad to ask or answer any questions you might have.
Any questions from council? Mr. Kilgore? Yes. Vice Mayor Adams.
Thank you again for doing the report. Very detailed, very good as usual. You said the city department spent 98.3% of what was budgeted. The remaining 1.7 that was put into the reserves?
Well, that's how we fund the equipment replacement and repair reserve. We take any difference between total revenues and total expenditures, and that adds to that account.
Okay. That's all I needed, just clarifying that for me. Thank you very much.
It stays in the fund, yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Okay. Somebody like to make a motion?
Well, I guess the one thing I always like to point out here is, you know, you look in there and the volunteers that serve the city of Sebastian, they basically donated 2,500 man-hours over the past quarter, which is the equivalent of 5 full-time employees. So thank you to the volunteers throughout the city. I mean, they do a fantastic job, and they represent Sebastian as well as, again, like I said, that's the equivalent of 5 full-time positions that they are volunteering their time, and thank you. With that, I'll make a motion to approve the budget.
I'll second it. Anyone from the public that would wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, Sally, roll call, please.
Mr. McPartland?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Coy?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
All right,
Oh,
that
he's down
passes
here.
unanimously. And now we are on to city attorney matters. Mr.
None
Ginsburg.
tonight, sir. Thank you.
City manager matters.
I have nothing, sir. Thank you.
City clerk matters.
I have nothing, thank you.
City council matters. I have nothing this evening. Vice Mayor Adams.
Thank you. Just wanted to say that Main Street looks very good. The paving, it looks really nice. Nice and smooth. Just wondered, the painting, the striping, when is that going to be done?
They are finished with the striping, sir. They are not going to stripe the center line because that would take away 13 inches, is it? 15 inches?
We were in discussion, and when you paint a road that has to have a double yellow, then you're adding another 6 inches plus another 3 inches, so you start using up about 16 inches.
16.
So you're using about 1.5 feet of the roadway, which we want to use as a roadway. And most residential streets, sometimes when you stripe a road, it kind of gives it that feeling that it's wider, so it kind of induces sometimes speeding. Typically, when you have a residential street like we have, which is now wider, we try to just keep it non-striped. We put the pavement markings down so people could see it at night. And that way we could just keep it more of a residential street.
Okay. Regarding that turn lane from Main Street onto Fleming, and then you'd have to make that left turn to get back onto Main Street. Are they going to do any arrows or anything on that corner there? Because when you make that turn, it looks like the only way you're supposed to go is onto Fleming.
We will look at that, and if additional markings can be done, our city's crew, we could do it ourselves.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Coy.
Thank you. Actually, 3 things. Bruce Singman took my thunder on the Shop with a Cop. Holy cow. That was my first day back in town after my vacation, and I wanted to be there. I had an emergency at home, but I happened to be driving by Walmart, and it looked like there was a whole terrorist thing going on. Every sheriff car, every city police car. I mean, it was blue light special in the parking lot, everywhere, lights and it was clearly a phenomenal event. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And next year, I really hope I can attend. But thanks, Bruce, for bringing that up. I'm glad you were able to see it too. Council, I have mentioned it before the holidays, and I think it's time I would like to ask on the next agenda or the following, no later than the first meeting in February, we need to start talking sign and our sign ordinance. We have an ordinance that we were very lax. We decided when the economy tanked that we were going to give business a break. And we lightened up on our sign ordinance intentionally from the dais. And it's now almost like we don't even have an ordinance. But we do, and we're just not following it. My reason for wanting to have a serious discussion about this is because we cannot implement any political sign rules, which will be coming up at this next election. It's going to get crazy. We cannot fairly implement any political sign rules that we are not, if we're allowing business to violate the sign law, then we have to allow everyone else to violate the sign law too. And it becomes very apparent political season. We saw it this last time around, and it's going to get really bad come 2016 season. So anyway, I've asked for the city manager to put that on so that we can start reviewing it. Today at the Chamber of Commerce board meeting, I asked if they would like to participate or how they would like to get input, and they are going to deal with it through the chamber system and come up with some suggestions, review. Many of the board members, many of the people who were seated there agreed that there is an issue, and they fully understand why it needs to be addressed too. If you drive down 512 now, on even US 1, you know, we don't allow banners. But there we got banners all over the place. And we've been really good about not penalizing folks. So now we need to come back to either that or suspend all the rules. So that's just a heads up. And the last thing, just for your knowledge, I've talked a little bit with the city manager, and I've asked him, I want to sit down with the art club and the quilters over in the building. There's no lease for that building. It's a verbal agreement that's 5 years old. We need to get a lease structure going. So I've asked the city manager to call a meeting. I'd like to sit down with the art club and talk about some possibilities and then bring it back to council, because for 5 years it's been a handshake. And I think it's really important that we memorialize, not unlike the senior center, put it in a lease. So that's just a heads up to let you know. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Councilmember McPartland.
They don't get any free parking over there.
Yeah, they're going to want a parking spot.
I used to, one of the ones, is this a scam? What you told me? They're painting your driveways. They posted this advertisement on my mailbox.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, you roll over this?
We don't know that it's a scam. However, it does not abide by the city codes with respect to putting their numbers on their residents, nor do they have the city's permission to paint in the right-of-way. So we're not saying it's a scam, but we did put something out on our Facebook and on our website encouraging people to look at this and understand that they are not in compliance with the city ordinance. nor did they get permission from the city.
Tell folks what it is, though, so that,
It's $20 for painting your emergency number. So, you know, if law enforcement and ambulance came by, or the pizza guy, he would know that it was your address.
And I will tell you, we do not look on the driveway for your address. We look on your residence and your mailbox.
Right. It was taped to my mailbox, and it was taped to my
Which is
neighbor's.
a
I got
crime.
phone calls about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a crime. Unfortunately, the mail police don't really get involved with these things being put on the mailboxes. But it is against the law for people to put advertisements on the mailboxes.
Okay.
The call I got was, it was on their front door. They were taped right to the front door.
Okay. Taped to my mailbox. All right, well, I guess also then, Sally, we still looking for members for the Charter Review Committee? How many more we need?
3 at large.
Okay, we need 3 at-large members. It's a very rewarding committee. It meets every 5 years to go over the city's charter. I think it's a fantastic experience, so anybody that's out there interested, you know, fill out an application and get it into Sally, because they start up very soon, right?
Actually, they're having orientation next Tuesday without those 3, and we'll continue, try to get them to you.
All right, so when we hit up, when the people are going to Citizens Academy, Michelle, tell them to go over to the Charter Review Committee too. All right, number 2, there's a need for more foster parents in our community, and 4Kids, which is one of the licensing agencies, is holding a training in Indian River County. It's starting January 30th. Anybody who's interested, they can give me a call at 772-708-2900. Email me, but we have a need for more foster parents in our community. Number 3, January 23rd will be the final for the Treasure Coast Has Talent. That's the talent show that we've had for students in Indian River, Okeechobee, and St. Lucie counties. So the final will be down at Fort Pierce Central High School the 23rd from 5 to 7. I have a couple of side bets with other counties' personnel that the winner will come from Indian River County, because we have some fine talent here, but there's great talent throughout the 3 counties that participated. And number 4, the point-in-time count, which has to do with the homeless population throughout the country. The official count happens on January 29th. So if there's anybody out there, you know, a couple people that are living up in a camp, if you could let me know, so that way, because we have to make sure that the individuals get counted, because that's associated with federal dollars. If we're not showing that people are here homeless, then your area doesn't get any monies to, you know, work with the homeless. And I know we have several homeless around, and we're not just talking, you know, just you think about substance abusers or alcoholics. There's a lot of homeless veterans that are out there with PTSD, as well as there's over 400 children on the Treasure Coast that are homeless. Children that are homeless on the Treasure Coast. So it's important. So anybody who knows of any homeless encampments or anything, it's not a get you, it's just going out, because we want to get an accurate count so we can get those federal dollars to assist them in any way we can.
I'm glad you brought that up. Just because today at the chamber, it came up. And it seems that this year, right now, we are having an awful lot. And I wanted to talk to Chief after this meeting. US 1 behind Walmart, that yellow building, the gray building where Don Wright used to work, behind in there, and that they're going in and going upstairs and using the second floor bathroom. But it apparently there is a significant extra number right now. So I'm glad you're going now. And,
So, I
and
mean,
behind
this is,
Walmart.
this is a great opportunity where we're also going out, and there's a lot of outreach that's available to get people, if they want to come out of the woods, and get them assistance. And in the past years, we have done that. And even recently, you weren't here, Officer Masinik had called me a couple weeks ago. There was a homeless woman with 2 children, and we were able to get Best Western, put her up for the night, and then the next day I followed up with her, and she's now in the Hope Family Center,
Oh,
that's down in
super.
Vero Beach with her 2 children. So.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it? That's it. Okay, we are now adjourned.